from school safely, get to and from your friend's house safely. Honestly, anytime you're outside, we want to make sure that you're safe and that you remember all the things that you've learned growing up. Hopefully, most of this should be a review for you today. But before we start off, I do have a couple of questions, and if the answer to any of these is yes, all you have to do is quietly raise your hands. How many of you had a good weekend? Okay, some of you, some of us maybe not so much. Okay, how many of you like to hang out with your friends? Okay, essentially all of us. Who doesn't? Hands down. How many of you like to play outside? Whether that's sports or just hanging out, okay? Okay, hands down. How many of you like to play video games? Hello? Well, guess what? I brought a very special video game with me today. It is called Beat the Street. Especially because cars are a lot bigger than us and they're a lot faster and heavier than us. So, I want you to shout out, what is this car? It's an ambulance, right? You should all recognize it. Now, an ambulance is meant to get you to and from the hospital as quickly and as safely as they possibly can. Now, I hope none of you ever have to ride in an ambulance because that means you've been pretty badly hurt. Now, pedestrian crashes are one of the leading causes of injury-related deaths. Now, we are pedestrians. Anyone who walks is a pedestrian. So we need to understand the dangers that come with crossing the street. One of them being stopping distance. Now, by show of hands, how many of you guys think that a car can just instantly stop? Any of you? A couple of you? Okay. Now, cars, like I said, they're a lot bigger than us. They're a lot faster than us. So it might be hard for them to stop. How many of you think that maybe we as people, though, we could instantly stop? We're a lot smaller than cars, right? We're not as fast as a car or heavy as a car, so we could for sure instantly stop. Do I have a volunteer that's a really fast runner that wants to help me out? Okay. In the blue camo, I see, yeah. Okay, I'm going to move this out of the way for a second. Okay, what's your name? Riker. Okay, Riker, here's the rules. I'm going to have you go all the way back to the Mindful Brain poster. And then what you're going to do is you're going to run as fast as you can. And when I say stop, stop. Easy? Okay, go. Stop. How many of you noticed I said stop about right here? Okay, now we are not as fast as a car. We're not as big as a car. Even us as people, we can't stop. So think about a car. A car's a lot bigger than us. They're definitely not going to be able to stop in time. Give Riker a big round of applause. Okay, so let's look at what that might look like. If a car is going 20 miles per hour, which is what they would go when you are going to and from school, or they should be going about this speed in a neighborhood, it takes them 3 whole car lengths to come to a complete stop. I need 2 more volunteers. Okay, in the very, very back in the jean jacket, your hair is in a ponytail, and then I'll go right here in the black hat.
Zach.
Okay, we have Zach and Sophie. Okay, I'll have you stand. You don't have to stand where the light's right in your eyes. You can stand over here. Okay, so we're going to see what 3 car lengths grab this end of the bag. I'm going to have you both walk backwards until the rope is all the way out the bag. Sophie, you're probably going to run into that first. Okay, right here. This is 3 car lanes. When a car is going 20 miles per hour, which is not that fast, this is how long it takes them to stop. Now we know that cars can go a lot faster. If a car is going 40 miles per hour, which 40 miles per hour is what they're going to be going right outside of your school. Your school is right next to a busier road. Let's picture in our minds, let's double this. If we were to double this, this wouldn't even fit in this room. Okay, I'm gonna have you guys drop those. Just drop it where you're at. Okay, give these two a big round of applause. Okay, now, car can travel a lot faster than 40 miles per hour. Hopefully you're never walking around a car that's going 60 miles per hour, but if you ever are, it's going to take them 12 whole car lengths to come to a complete stop. So what this means for us, it means we can't be running out in front of cars. We can't be walking in the street without looking. We have to be paying attention. Now this is a video from our EMTs. EMTs are the people who work inside of an ambulance, and they are going to talk about some of the dangers that they see while on the job.
My name is Eric Anderson with West Jordan Fire Department.
My name's Sam Pasqua. I'm a firefighter paramedic with West Jordan Fire Department.
When dealing with pediatric calls or calls with kids, they can be a lot more nerve-wracking.
A lot of the injuries that we see when kids get hit by cars can be lifelong injuries that change what they do, and sometimes they may never be able to walk or do day-to-day activities that they're used to doing ever again. In worst case scenario, they can be fatal and it'll kill them.
The hard part about dealing with kids is they come in different sizes. So one size does not fit all. So we have to have special equipment to be able to treat these kids.
We can help split their legs and their arms. We've got tubes and devices that we can use to help them breathe. So one of the biggest tools we have is an ambulance. That's got lights and sirens on it, and the biggest thing is that we can move traffic and get people to the hospital very quickly and efficiently.
And remember, accident scenes are really scary, but we're there to help you, and we're wanting you to make the right choices so we don't have to come help you in these situations. One time, we got a call at 9, and we were called to an individual who was hit by a tracks train. And what had happened is that individual was watching his phone. He had earpods in, and he wasn't paying any attention. And he crossed the tracks when that train was coming by. And where he was initially hit, he was knocked out of his shoes. And by the time the train stopped, roughly about 60 feet, that person did not look like a person. He was unrecognizable as a person. As a kid, you often think that you're invincible. Nothing will happen to you. But the truth is, when crossing the street, people can't see you. Now remember, let's make smart decisions. Let's cross at crossing lines. Let's make sure that we wear reflective color at night.
And not being distracted by your devices, listening to music, or looking at your phone. Also be sure that when you're with your friends, you keep an eye on them, make sure that they're not distracted and that they pay attention to the signs too. Remember that life isn't a game and there's no reset button, so stay safe in the streets.
Okay, now, this video might be a little intense, but our goal is not to scare you. However, you do need to be aware that sometimes when you're outside, there are things that can be dangerous. But I love what Sam said. He said, life isn't a video game. There is no reset button. We can't just respawn. So we need to make sure we're being careful in the streets. And when we can do that, we know that we can be safe. So congratulations, because you just won your first badge. We're going to move on to our second badge, which is crossing tactics. crosswalk, stop at the curb. You can't just walk into the middle of the street. And then, on those busier roads, look for signs and signals. We know that this right here is a stoplight. That is for cars. We don't need to follow those. We're not a car. However, this is a pedestrian countdown sign. When you see that flashing red hand or that solid red hand, that means don't walk. You don't have enough time. Now, when you see that little person, it means it's your turn to walk. It's safe to cross the street. However, even if you do see that little person, make sure you're still using your eyes and looking for those cars. Make sure you're listening for them, and make sure you're stopping for them. Now, you're going to look left, look right, look left again. We can't just look left and look right, look left again at one time. We have to do it the entire time we cross the street because, again, we never know when cars are going to be coming. And then we've got to use our ears. We all know that cars make noise, right? Yeah? Yeah. Well, did you know that they're making more and more electric vehicles that are meant to be even quieter? These quiet cars can be really hard to hear when we're outside. So even if you're on the sidewalk, even if you're just playing in a park, playing in front of your yard, we need to make sure that we're listening for those quiet cars. And lastly, we gotta use our eyes while we use our feet. If you need to cross the street and there is a driver in a car, make sure that you make eye contact with that driver. Look them in the eyes and make sure that they're stopping for you. You can even give them a little wave or a little head nod, and if they do it back to you, that means they see you. But we gotta be using our eyes. Now with that, we just won our cross step. There's one thing I want to add to this though, and that is jaywalking. Jaywalking is the least safest way to cross the street, and that is when you do not use a crosswalk. Again, those crosswalks are designated for us, and it tells cars where there might be pedestrians. So let's demonstrate this. I brought a friend. She's found the crosswalk. She stopped at the curb. Now she's going to look left, look right, look left again the entire time she crosses the street, and then safety. Oh yeah. Okay, we're going to move on to our next badge, which is crossing focus. How many of you by show of hands think you're good at focusing? Okay, we're going to test that in just a minute. But I'm going to have you put your hands in. You put your hands in. Anytime we're outside, we have to be focused. We have to be paying attention, especially when it comes to driveways. Now, when you're walking to and from school or to and from a friend's house, you're going to walk past a lot of driveways. We want you to treat those like you would a street. Stop at the edge of that driveway like you would a curb, and just look to see if there are any cars leaving or coming into that driveway. We see so many crashes with cars and pedestrians at driveways because cars can't always see us. So again, we need to stop for them. Now when we're outside, there might be a lot of things that take our attention away from the street. What are some crazy distractions that you guys might see around the street? Right here. Yeah, people on their phones. So that can be either in a car or even outside of a car. Even if you're the one on a phone. Okay, we'll go. I think I saw your hand. Okay, talking to people and looking away. So, not looking at the road, and then having conversations, right? Okay, I'll come over here. I'm gonna go around this way first. Okay, in the yellow sweatshirt, what's another distraction? AirPods or music. Do you want this one? Okay, AirPods, music, phones. I'll go with one more. We'll come right here. What's our last distraction? Headphones. So that could be over the head headphones, right? Even wired headphones. They still make those anymore. And then AirPods, right? Okay, I'm gonna throw in fidget toys. Devices like smart watches, Apple watches, anything like that can take our attention away and distract us. Now, a lot of you said you guys are good at focusing, so I want to test that. So, I'm going to explain the rules of this game real quick. What I want you to do is I want you to count the number of times the team in white passes the basketball back and forth to each other, and I want to see if all of us can get the same answer at the end, okay? Now, if you've seen this, don't shout it out.
How many passes does the team in white make?
How many?
The answer is 13.
The answer is 13. Hey, good job. However, how many of you noticed the moonwalking bear? Okay? Looks like I must have a whole class that did. Okay, now some of you did, some of you didn't. We're going to rewind it. I'll point them out. Okay, I'll show you. I'll point them out. Hold on. There we go.
But did you see the moonwalking bear?
I'll point them out so you guys can see. Okay. How many of you missed the moonwalking bear? Okay. I know when I first saw this, I missed it too. Now there's a reason that we missed it, and it's because when we're distracted, we can miss up to half of the stuff that's going on right in front of our face. Now that bear wasn't trying to hide. He wasn't dodging behind people, literally going right in the middle of the screen and doing a little dance, and you still missed it. That means anytime we're outside, we have to be paying attention. So congratulations, you just won your Cross the Focus badge. We have 2 more badges to go. This is the right skin. Yeah. All hail the mighty helmet. By show of hands, how many of you ride a bike, scooter, skateboard, anything with wheels? Okay, hands down. Be honest with me, how many of you wear a helmet? Okay, not as many of you, hands down, hands down. How many of you have a cell phone, tablet, device of some sort? Okay, almost all of us. Hands down. How many of you have some type of case or cover on that cell phone, device, tablet? Okay, now, put your hands down for a second. I find it so interesting that we put a case on our devices that could easily be replaced. If I dropped my cell phone and it broke, I could get it back tomorrow. I could get a new one tomorrow. I could get everything back. My pictures, videos, anything that was on it, I could get back. However, we don't always wear a helmet. Now, we only get one brain, and that brain makes you different, it makes you special, it makes you unique, and it helps you do all of the things that you do every single day. Talk, eat, read. So we need to make sure we're taking care of it. This next story is about Brianna. Brielle. Brielle was a little bit older than you guys, and she liked to ride her longboard. One day she was wearing her longboard and she decided she didn't need to wear a helmet. She told her mom, "Mom, I'm a professional." Well, that day she ended up falling off of her longboard and she hit her head pretty bad, and she had to go to the hospital because she had a pretty bad head injury. So she's going to tell you her story.
Brielle was super excited to get out and to go and longboard. And I said to her, "Brielle, don't forget to put your helmet on." She kind of dismissed me and said, "Whatever, Mom, I'm a professional." And I said, "You're not a professional, Brie, you need to put your helmet on."
My mindset on the importance of helmets was always, oh, it'll never happen to me.
I went inside and started doing some work, and she walked into my room looking for her headphones. And I said, "Brielle, you can't wear your headphones. You need to be able to hear what's going on around you." And again, kind of dismissed me and went on her way. It had only been maybe 7 to 10 minutes. I looked out the window and I could see to eat again. You have to learn how to swallow. You have to learn how to use a spoon, how to like use the bathroom on your own. It's like a whole lot of relearning.
I've been recovering from this longboard accident for 3 years, and I intend to recover for the rest of my life.
One simple decision to put the helmet on and buckle it up and be safe would have changed the outcome of her whole life.
If I could tell other people my age about the importance of helmet safety, it would just be to put it on. I had the easy way. I had the miracle version, but some people don't.
I love what Brielle said. She said she had the miracle version because she knows that her story could have been a lot different. Could have been a lot worse, but also her story could have been a lot different if she would have worn her helmet. She might not have had to go through all of that, right? We don't stand up here and tell you to put your helmet on because we want you to look silly or uncool when you're riding your bike or scooter or skateboard. We don't tell you to put your helmet on because we want you to mess your hair up before you get to school and get all sweaty underneath it. We tell you to put your helmet on because it could save your life. Now, it's not just helmets, right? There are other things that keep us safe outside. When it gets dark or it gets rainy, we need to wear very specific things. We need to wear reflective. Bright is beautiful. So can I get a couple of volunteers? Okay. In the very, very, very back, you're wearing like a yellow, bright, yeah. Okay, I'll pick one more. I'll come over here and I'll show this side some love. Okay. In the very back, yeah, you're pointing your hand in the black sweatshirt. I'll have you come up too. Both of you guys can come up. You guys can come up. Okay. Now I chose these three for very specific reasons. And that is because of what they are wearing. Now, I'll have you guys, we're all going to move up kind of to the front, right here, so people can see. Okay. Ooh. What is your name? Thanks. And what's your name over here? Charlie. Okay. So, I chose these three for very specific reasons. Charlie, obviously, in a very bright colored sweatshirt. These two, darker colored clothes. We know when we're outside and it's raining or it's dark, or even like today, when it was kind of snowy this morning, it was still pretty dark outside. When we're wearing dark colored clothing, we know it's not always easy to be seen. So we need to make sure we're wearing bright colored clothes. However, even in bright colored sweatshirts, bright white, bright yellow, bright orange, it might not always be easy for cars to see us. That is why we need to wear reflective gear. Now this is a reflective vest. And these little stripes right here, it reflects light back to the cars. So when cars like hit these little silver stripes, people can be seen. However, we don't always have reflective vests, right? But you know what you might have? You might have light up bracelets, light up keychains, flashlights. So, if you guys have light up bracelets, keychains, backpacks, what else like that? Flashlights, glow sticks, literally anything like that, cars can see you better. I'm gonna have all of you put your hands up in the air just like that. Okay, take a look at these guys right here. Cars can see that. So make sure when it's dark outside, you guys are wearing something that flashes or that lights up. Okay, give these three a big round of applause. Okay, we're going to demonstrate that. It's going to get a little dark, a little rainy. Now, notice where he put
my little sister to be safe in your streets. I wish I heard how to live both ways and what the signs mean. We listen for cars and make eye contact with the drivers to make sure it's safe before crossing. My friends and I count on each other to watch out for cars. We remind each other not to goof around when we're in crosswalks and to put our distractions away when we're in traffic. No one's perfect, so we all try to help keep each other safe. It's up to older kids like us to set a good example, use common sense, and take responsibility to help younger kids. You just have to remember, being smart in your streets makes you a hero.
Hey, now when you guys are outside, especially when you're walking home from school or coming to and from school, you might see people who need a little extra help. If you see a first or second grader that doesn't quite know what they're doing, or they're crossing the street wrong, or they're unsafe, even if you don't know them, help them out, right? Because that is how we all can be safe together. Now, if you have younger siblings, obviously be a good example to them as well. When we can do all of these things, guess what? The winner is you. Give yourselves a big round of applause. There is one more thing I want to talk to you about before you look towards your teachers and they'll dismiss you. But that was called our Walk and Roll Challenge. If any of you walk or ride bikes or scooters to school or to a bus stop, you can enter in to win a free bike or scooter. Now, because you guys beat the game, because you guys were such a good audience,